Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to Does Our Spiritual Practice Disgust Other People? With subtitles from Tsem. So I was just looking through and I saw this. I'm like, what? Why would people be disgusted of it? I don't know if any kind of practice which seems disgusting. I was trying to think of things that would be, but the things that I thought of was a little bit more inconvenience or annoying if it's intentional. But there's nothing I can think of that is disgusting or anything like that. Like, I'm kind of curious what he means by this. So let's go and give this video a shot.
I have to tell you something. I was watching an interview with Oprah Winfrey and Madonna, and it was one of my favorites because I was watching this, and anyway, you know Madonna's a goddess, and Oprah's not bad either. In any case, Madonna had come on the show before, and she was quite obnoxious, and she was quite loud, and she was quite boisterous, and she was like, give it to me, I deserve this, the world owes me this, and I made it because of my hard work, I don't owe anybody anything, and middle finger to the whole world, that was her attitude. And so this time when she came on the show, she was very Kabbalistic, she was very spiritual, she was very calm, she had found herself, and she was very in tune and at peace, and she wasn't aggressive. And even negative being said to her, she wasn't hostile. She wasn't mean, she wasn't rude. She just took it very well. And she was very much a lady. She was very calm. She was very mature. And so Oprah was saying to her, Madonna, you're very different. You're very different these days. You're not like before. And Madonna was sitting there like this. She loved it. She was sitting there like this. And then Oprah was going on and on. Oprah said, you're very different before. You're not as hostile. You're much calmer. And you seem to have taken life in a stride. You seem to accept things. And it's so much more easier to interview you and to be with you now. And it's actually a pleasure. I actually look forward to it now. And Madonna was like waiting for it to finish. And when she finished, Madonna was drinking all this in. And she turned around, blinked at her, and went like this. Thank you. And I was like, oh God, she didn't change. It was so funny because she was just drinking it all in. And she was like, tell me more. I want to hear more. And even the way she pronounced thank you, I will never forget. It was with every teeth, every fiber of her tongue. She just went like this. And she blinked at her, at Oprah. She's like, thank you. And I thought, oh, I'll never forget that. Never. The next time people compliment me, I'll just sit there and wait for them to finish. Of course, I won't rush them. And then when they're done, I'll make sure they hear me say, thank you.
I gotta look that up now.
Reason why I asked the question is one is to think about compassion. Another way is to think about how to get less attached. Because a lot of people, when you talk to them about compassion, right, they only relate to the superficial level, and then they'll say, oh yeah, I'm very compassionate because I take good care of my children and all this, but it's because of deep attachment. But of course, we are also not at that level. So how can we help these people to suffer less because of their attachment?
Showing them a good example. Showing them a good example from your practice. Showing them a good example from your practice. Showing them that you transform. You know what's the best way to transform people around you? Is you change. And your change is not advertised. You're not blowing a horn. You're not wearing a t-shirt. Look, I'm spiritual now. I'm not fabulous. I'm more calmer. Recognize me. So you don't go to them, thank you. Okay? So my point is, if you want people around you, and I'm sure you're talking about people around you, then you need to have very strong transformation in you. Then you'll wake them up. If you don't transform and you just simply talk, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your mother, your father, all of them got it. Why? They're going to look at you. They're going to look at you. So people say, how do I bring my girlfriend to Dharma? How do I bring my boyfriend to Dharma? How do I bring my friends to Dharma? How? The answer is very simple. Bring yourself to Dharma. Once you bring yourself to Dharma, they will transform. Definitely. No one cannot not feel kindness. No one.
I mean, that's pretty true. If they can see an example of what that stuff leads to, it's like, wow, that's actually pretty nice or pretty cool or very beneficial. Of course, you can tell people, kind of like there's a saying, do as I say, not as I do kind of deal. So there are smokers out there that'll tell you not to smoke. That's kind of the saying there. It's like, well, you're telling me not to smoke, but yet you're smoking, so why should I listen to you? You're a hypocrite. It's like, yeah, it's true, but at the same time, it is genuinely good advice. So do as I say, not as I do as well. I guess that's what a hypocrite says, kind of deal, huh? It doesn't change the fact that it's true, though. So even though perhaps maybe you are not following Dharma, but you could tell people to, and maybe some people do. Not, I would say that's not very convincing if you are like that. I'm just saying, like if a person tells you to, follow Dharma and they don't, it's not a very convincing argument. But some people do. You're like, not a bad idea. I remember hearing something about this, and it seems interesting. I think I'll take that advice. But obviously, it's a little bit more impactful if you yourself are a follower of whatever it is that you preach. You do as you preach. Yes.
How strong you practice, you will transform them. Look, how much we practice. Let me give you a little hint. How much you practice, you look at yourself. How many people can you bring to the spiritual path? When you talk to them, are you convincing? Can you bring them to the spiritual path? That's how you will know if your practice is effective. If you've been in Dharma this year, 2 year, 3 year, you can't even affect your best friend. You can't even do something with your best friend, or you can't even bring people Dharma to your lover or your friend, and they can't even transform. Forget about all the people you have never met. So you have to check yourself. You want to bring people you love to Dharma, you want to repay the kindness of people who've been kind to you, then you need to bring yourself to Dharma. When you bring yourself to the Dharma, you'll repay their kindness. So first step is you check yourself. How stable you are, how giving you are, how compassionate you are, how forgiving you are, how forgiving you are, how compassionate you are, how much you study, how much you apply what you say is how much you can bring other people to Buddhism or Dharma. Okay? And some people, they bring people to Dharma, they're not stable, they go off. Why? We're not stable. How we act. People see. It puts a very strong psychic impression in our minds when we see people. So if you see people 1 week jumping up and down, they're happy with us, fabulous with us, Buddha is number one, and next week they're jumping up and down on t-shirt and tearing it and ripping it and cutting it up. Then next week they say, oh, they're sewing up the t-shirt again. They say, oh, I regret it. They wear it. And the week after that, they're burning the t-shirt. Then the week after that, they're collecting the t-shirts, ashes and putting it in a stupa and worshiping it. We're gonna take, and then they say to us, "Oh, Buddhism transformed you." And go, "Yeah, sure did. You're a psycho now." Yeah, sure did. It did transform you. You're a walking Dharma psycho. We call you DP. That's right. So therefore, people observe you. Then people say, "Oh, how can I help my father?" I hear that years. How do I help my mother? They're looking at you. They're looking how much you've transformed. How's your motivation? How's your knowledge? Example, like we're usually fighting with our father, we're usually fighting with our sister, and we stop. We totally stop. We don't even think about it anymore. We just think, oh, whatever. We do my own thing, and I'll be very kind, I'll pray for them. Just leave it. After a while, they'll soften. They'll go, hey, what happened? Why? They can't keep hitting the wall. So how you can bring other people to Dharma is dependent on your level of practice. Example, when I was 15 and 16, I was teaching Dharma to my mother. I got beaten back for it. She used to slap me silly for it. But now when I teach Dharma to people, the chances are less. I can go to the gym, I can go to dry cleaners, anywhere. If I start talking Dharma, chances are when I finish with them, they'll be chanting Mixer. They'll be chanting Tsongkhapa's mantra. That's right. Look at Miss Nepal. When I'm done with them, am I showing off? No, I'm not showing off. I have transformed in the last 20 years. I haven't transformed a lot, but enough that people are not stupid, they can feel it. But if it was 20 years ago, it's very difficult. But there are some people, there are 20 years later, they still can't do anything for other people themselves. Why? They haven't applied the Dharma. So if you want to change people around you, you want to help people around you, and you want to affect people around you, you have to show it. And it has to be real. And then you will see troves of people coming to the Dharma when you speak, when you talk. What's the Dharma? Transformation of the mind. So those of us, some of us wish to be Dharma teachers. Some of us wish to be lineage holders. Some of us wish to spread Dharma to others. How do you do that? You study, and you apply, and you transform. And you hold your vows. When you do that, you build up a nucleus energy that will explode into benefiting others. You have to do it yourself. That's why I tell people keep their commitments. Do their so hold their refuge vows. Even if you don't have refuge vows, hold it as if you do because they're ethical. Let your protector and let your God be the fear of karma. Why? You take responsibility. That's beautiful. It's much more beautiful. So therefore, if we can't make headway with people around us, if we can't help them to transform and change, and in fact, our spiritual practice disgusts them, and it makes them turn off, most likely is that we are very pretentious and fake. That is mostly likely the case. We are pretentious and fake. So if you hear people say, oh, I've been living with my girlfriend, I've been living with my boyfriend 5 years, they hate it, they don't like this, they don't like that, most likely it's because you're not transforming. So they're not stupid. They're so close with you, they sleep with you, they eat with you, they drive around with you, they live with you, so they can see you haven't changed. So what you're talking about is just, yeah, whatever. They're having compassion on you to just let you talk. Think about it. So it starts where here. How do we start? Hold our vows. When we talk, whatever we say, we mean it. We don't burden emotionally other people. We don't emotionally burden other people. Meaning, how do we emotionally burden other people? By always making them repeat and force and remind us. And we always say the nasty mantra, I forgot. You know, the mantra, I forgot, is worse than I hate you. I hate you, say bye-bye, see you later. If you say, I forgot, you're seeking forgiveness. They forgive you, then you say again, I forgot. Then they forgive you again, I forgot. How many times do you want them to forgive you? After a while, they're going to beat you up. So it's a very bad mantra. If you want to chase people away, chase away patrons, chase away friends, make people pissed off, make people hate you, and make people not like you, you tell them, I forgot. I don't remember. Or you completely have no sense about it. You chase everybody away. That's a very powerful mantra. It's the best way to create enemies. It's the best way to destroy yourself. Very best. So if you want to chase away friends and enemies and all that, you just tell them, I forgot. You need to go work for somebody you hate. Whatever they tell you, you say, okay, later, you didn't do it, I forgot. They say, see you later, fired. They'll pay you to go. So you think about it. To be emotionally selfish is to always have people remind you, you forget, you never push yourself, and you never take responsibility for things. That is emotional selfishness. If you're emotionally selfish, most likely you'll be physically selfish. If you're physically selfish, most likely it's very hard for you to accomplish work or what you want to do or what you want to accomplish. Why? The energy you send forth to people and what people feel around you will not be positive. Not positive at all. So we have to think about that. It's very, very important.
Interesting. I mean, if you genuinely forgot, I think the caring thing to do is to ask, because if you genuinely forgot, but then you don't ask, then that to me sounds like you don't care. It's very strange. I mean, like if you have memory issues, or if you generally forget a lot, then you definitely need to either seek help, as in like maybe there is something wrong in your mind, your brain, should I say? Like maybe you do have like what is it called, Alzheimer's. It could be the development of that. So a bit strange, I'll say, to say you forgot's worse than I hate you. No, to me, if someone forgot, if they're genuine about it, not a big deal. I forget a lot. I don't think I have Alzheimer's though. No, I'm not that old yet. um, but to say I hate you, well, for someone to say something like that, in my opinion, of course, that's a bit strong. But I guess I would like to know a little bit more context of what he means by I forgot. Like, I mean, again, this is purely from my perspective, though. Like, if someone cares, they want to say, "Hey, man, I forgot when that party is or what's going on." They care enough to ask. It's not like I'll say this: if they forgot and then don't do, the worst thing it would be, honestly, would probably be they remember and just don't come. They say, "Yeah, I'm gonna come," and they just don't. That's worse. They say they forgot and they're like, "I don't care." It's about the same as them not. I think it's probably actually the same as them not going anyway, because whether they remember it or not, they're not going. But I think the kindest thing to do, I guess, from my perspective, is if you forget, ask, because that shows that you do want to show up. I mean, again, this is all intent though. Like if you're just trying to be annoying, say, "Oh, I forgot. What is it again?" That's a different story. But if you genuinely forgot, then again, that's another story. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Like, if you invited someone to the party and they're like, oh man, hey man, I can't remember what time the party is. I forgot. Can you let me know? Do you really believe that they're saying something worse than I hate you? I mean, that shows that they care enough to ask, that they care enough that they want to show up. But if like if say for example you tell them, and then all of a sudden they don't show up, and you ask them, hey man, where were you at? It's like, oh my gosh, I forgot again. That could be a different thing. Like if you keep constantly forgetting, even though you don't really have a problem, like your brain is fine. It's just that for some odd reason you put them as secondary, and maybe this is what he's talking about, like where they put you as a secondary thought, and like basically you're not important to them, so that if they happen to remember the invitation or the birthday party, or whatever it may be, and they'll show up. But if they forget, they'll ask, and but it's like it's asking for the sake of asking, just in case they happen to remember at the time. Then I can see that. I can see that for sure. Is that more hateful than I hate you? That, I think maybe in that perspective, probably actually, because it's the lack of care. At least with the hate you, if it's genuine, at least they're being truthful. So, okay, from that perspective, I understand. But it's just, I guess, is to have that context between just saying I forgot, because there's a couple of ways to go about it. You don't want to think that people who say I forgot, that they don't care and that they hate you or something like that, which I doubt tends to. I doubt that being the majority of the cases. But there are people out there who genuinely don't care, but they'll say they forgot just so that they can get reminded of it, and if they happen to show up, which then those people I can see. Anyways, that's my reaction to the spiritual practice discuss other people, which strangely he did answer that question towards the end there. I was wondering where that part was at. But anyways, if you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up the sound down below. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next vid.